welcome to the Emirates Stadium.
Y'all ready for this?
So we're back again with another stadium tour. We're back in North London, this time to check out the Red Side, the rivals of the club we visited. A couple of days ago we went to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and I thought, you know what, let's come back and let's do Arsenal as well. So we're off to the Emirates. If you're wondering where to park when you come to the Emirates, because it is probably one of the worst grounds you can visit if you're driving, I highly suggest you get on that website, Just Park. It's not sponsored by Just Park, this video, but I thought I'd share some useful information. Car parks around here were like 50 quid plus. I think one near the ground was like 80 quid, but if you go on Just Park, I got that spot over there for £7. And although it does say a 10-minute walk, Google Maps begs to differ, it says 15, but it's a lovely day. And as you know, I'm a milkman and I'm very much used to walking, but I am buzzing still. The excitement does not dwindle, the excitement does not go for me when it comes to visiting football grounds. Of course, coming this way, I'm going to be checking out Highbury as well. For those of you who have been living under a rock, Highbury is the old home of Arsenal Football Club, the Gunners. Now, similar to like the Dow where we visited yesterday, Highfield Road, the former Coventry ground, Griffin Park and so on, when I visit these old football grounds, unfortunately I didn't have the pleasure of actually going there when they were an active football ground. But the good thing with Highbury is part of it is a listed building and it looks pretty much the same. I'm in high spirits, I always am in high spirits, and you've read the title and you're probably thinking, here we go, another Man United fan, not from Manchester. Yeah, unfortunately I do live like 2.5 hours away from Old Trafford. I'm from Hereford originally, now live in Cheltenham. So this is your cue to give me some abuse in the comments below. Give me some stick. Come on guys, give it to me, I love the banter. And ladies and gents, we're here. As you can see in the distance over there, you've got the Armoury. This is the shop, the official, sorry, the official Arsenal shop, the Armoury. We will be going in there because, again, if you are new to the channel, when we visit each and every one of these 20 Premier League stadiums this season, the rule is we have to buy one item from the club shop. I shouldn't say this around Arsenal, but in the Spurs shop a couple of days ago, we bought 3 items because I was very impressed. Now the Spurs shop is the largest club football shop in Europe, so I'm interested to see as to the size of the Arsenal shop. But remember guys, it's not the size, it's how you use it. The way it looks, I think the Emirates Stadium does come under a lot of criticism for being somewhat run down despite it being a fairly modern stadium. I've never kind of felt that way from looking at it on the TV and pictures and stuff. So let's go and take a closer look. I think we're going to save the trip to the Armoury until after the tour. I think we're going to start off by doing like we normally would, a 360 around the outside, get in the tour, finish up at the club shop and then head to Highbury. This is going to be a banging day. Let's do this, come on. I've got a feeling we're going to be stopping quite a lot on this tour because there's so much going on already right outside the Armoury. You've got this Charlie George bench here, former Arsenal players. It says 179 appearances, 49 goals. The bench, there's loads of benches around here, so I'm guessing they're all named after players. But also fans. We see this a lot around football grounds. You can buy a tile or a brick, normally as part of the paving or brickwork around the ground. That's not necessarily unique to Arsenal. Let's have a little wander around these benches. See, now Bob Wilson's most known in my generation. I'm like, well, how old am I? 34, for being a presenter on the telly. I think, did he used to present Match of the Day? He did something. We know Bob, I think he had a spell on Redford Rejects, maybe I'm wrong. Bob Wilson played for Arsenal, as it says here. 308 appearances, but no goals. But an Arsenal legend, nonetheless. Over here you've got Robin Van... Nah, I'm only joking. You've got David Rocastle. 277 appearances, 34 goals. We could go on forever. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to piece together a bit of a montage and then we'll continue looking round. It's all going on round here. We've got a bit of a keep fit club over there, a bit of exercise going on. Now, I've mentioned Arsenal moved here in 2006, and I think most Arsenal fans would agree they had to increase the capacity, increase the revenue. Obviously, Arsene Wenger's made reference to it in recent interviews. They had to move because they were missing out on money. Money talks, we all know that in the Premier League in 2024, but I'm sure each and every Arsenal fan was somewhat reluctant because of the history at Highbury. But with that said, I think again, I hear a lot of negative things about this place, but in terms of the way it looks, I think it's beautiful. We mentioned the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium looked beautiful from the outside. Considering this was built in 2006, I think it does look really nice. So when football clubs move to new stadiums, we say they often lack a bit of personality. They obviously lack the history that's been built in the old stadium. But one thing I'm initially impressed by with Arsenal is how much of the history is on the ground, not just through benches, but physically on the ground.
Right here, right now, right now, right here.
That personality we always talk about that's lacking with modern stadiums is evident in the fact that Arsenal have got the clock end here at the Emirates. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, you've clicked the thumbnail, you've seen the title, you've probably been somewhat wary when you started watching this video. Now, I'm going to give you the most backhanded compliment you can get right now, because up until recent times, Arsenal were by far my least favourite football club. Now, obviously, I keep saying the word obviously, I do apologise, I'm not from Manchester, so I didn't get the local derby with City. Again, City weren't necessarily the City we know of today, back in the 90s when I grew up, but also where I'm from, Hereford, everyone was a Man United fan. There were very few Liverpool fans. The Liverpool fans tended to be a little bit older. The generation before me was a Liverpool glory fan. And Arsenal were the ones challenging Manchester United for the title. The biggest rivals, the Wenger versus Ferguson era. Arguably, in my opinion, the greatest era, the greatest rivalry in the Premier League was between Fergie and Wenger, United and Arsenal, late 90s, early 2000s. And for that reason, I hated Arsenal. I hated the commotions in the tunnel. I found when we beat Arsenal on what would have been their 50th unbeaten game, naturally I loved it. I love Ruud van Nistelrooy, and I always hated when they gave Van Nistelrooy stick for missing that penalty. But I can honestly say right now, I very much shrug that Arsenal hatred. Shouldn't say that too loudly. And I've got nothing but respect for Arsenal as a football club. Now obviously people give us stick for supporting Man United and not being from Manchester, but that's essentially what football's become. Clubs, unfortunately, have become brands. But I think if you just look behind me over here, you can see all the supporters' flags from different countries. All these people that come from over the world to support Arsenal. The Premier League is very much a global super league. And you can see here you've got flags from Pakistan, you've got Sweden, got South Sudan, Singapore, Gooners, it's all going on. Arsenal are one of the most well-supported clubs in the world, not just in England, and it does annoy me a little bit when they do biggest club from each area and people always put Chelsea above Arsenal as the biggest club in London. It is debatable. I can't really give you an answer on that one. Obviously Chelsea won 2 Champions Leagues, Arsenal won the Cup Winners' Cup, but they've not actually won a European Cup. But in my opinion, in terms of history and stuff, I would edge Arsenal as the biggest club in London. Sorry if you're watching this and a Spurs fan, I do apologise. I do try and be somewhat neutral, but I do like to give my honest opinion as well. Look at this traitor over here. Now I don't watch much of the Women's Super League, but I know that Alessia Russo was a former Manchester United forward, striker, and she did that cheeky back heel in the Women's Euros. Traitor Russo. You can literally spend all day just reading everything and looking at everything around the Emirates Stadium. Again, credit to Arsenal, because despite it being a new stadium, it has personality. Now, Ian Wright, I was listening to the Gary Neville Stick to Football podcast on the way here. Everyone loves Ian Wright, Right, so again, I'm generally pleasant about clubs and the grounds and stuff. Very rarely do I get negative, but those who know me know my least favourite footballer of all time is this man right here, Martin Keown. I always bring up the bloody incident with Ruud van Nistelrooy. This man in here, over here, in Ruud's face, is one of my least favourite shots, pictures of all time. Have I got over it? I've got over my dislike for Arsenal, but I don't know if I've quite got over my dislike for Martin Keown. Apologies, Arsenal fans. Tony Adams behind me. Seems to be a bit of a place where everyone does exercise around here. Everyone in North London is staying ultra fit, and so am I, doing all these tours. Just met a gooner from China, come all the way from China to do the tour. Again, just shows what a global club Arsenal are. So I've just spoke to the guy in the museum. I can go in there now, but he does recommend going in after the tour. But we do have some bad news, and that's the home changing room is closed. They've got some event on today, but I will overlay some either pictures or video during the tour just to give you an idea as to what the home changing room looks like. So that's a shame, but it doesn't matter, because I can see Arsene Wenger lifting a Premier League trophy. Now this is a little bit bittersweet, because I'm guessing he picked United to the title that season. I think, is that based on 97, 98, or is it the Invincible season? Let's go and have a look. So my friend over here has just told me that in, whereabouts in Sweden again?
Malmo.
Malmo. There's a Ibrahimovic statue, and someone's cut his leg off.
Yeah.
That's right. There you go. I thought he was taking a mick. He said, "Do you know who that is?" I said, as a joke, I said, "Sir Alex Ferguson." He said, "Oh, okay, Alex." I said, "No, Arsene Wenger." He doesn't watch football, but he knows, being Swedish, all about Ibra. Anyway guys, enough of me rambling. Let's get inside the Armoury. Let's get inside Emirates Stadium. It's a really good shop. I am eyeing up Gunnosaurus over there, but I love the fact that Arsenal's signature pattern, the bruised banana and the old mid-90s bluey away strip, has almost been used in other items like bags, fanny packs, hats and stuff. You don't generally get that with United. You get the blue and white kind of pattern they had in the early 90s. I've got no allegiance with Arsenal, but for me, Arsenal generally have some of the nicest kits in the Premier League, and they have over the years. They were like one of the first teams to have Nike manufacture their kit. I think they were the first in the Premier League, weren't they? Just some really nice stuff in here. But yeah, I think it's got to be. Normally I leave what I'm buying until the end, but I think I'm going to have to buy a Gunnosaurus. Again, I'm going to defend Arsenal. Everyone hates on, is that the away or third? I think it's the away. Everyone hates on this shirt, but for me who loves 90s flamboyant football shirts, this is beautiful. But it's not quite as nice as this one. That is really nice. United have started using the devil, like copying Arsenal with their cannon. Doesn't work as good as the cannon. And I mean, we talk about nods to the 90s. You've got the lightning, the zigzag on the home strip as well. So just like Spurs, the lads have been really helpful, and lads and lasses, may I say. I don't want to be sexist. So it's self-guided, if you didn't know already, a self-guided tour. And when you book the ticket, there's no like set time. You can just rock up whenever you want. You get a bit of a guide, and I'm probably shouting because I've got Lee Dixon harping on in the background. Obviously, similar to Spurs. Spurs was self-guided as well, but you had to get there for a certain time. So let's crack on with this tour. Come on then. According to my guide, the first stop is the director's entrance. Now, obviously I mentioned you started the tour in the club shop. You come through like an underground car park.
The
So the old Highbury was famous for its marble kind of entrance, reception area, and they've kind of replicated that with the director's entrance in there, nice and marbly. The classy feel to Highbury is something that players, ex-players always reminisce about. Everything in here so far is just incredibly classy.
It's a beautiful day. Sky falls, you feel like it was a beautiful day.
So I think it's going to be a bit of a common theme on this video, the reference to the fact that everyone says the Emirates is already a bit run down. I mean, I can't really say anything because Old Trafford is falling down. The seats are a little bit discoloured, nothing like Old Trafford seats. But I'm just going to give you a little glimpse as to what it would be like sat here. Let's see what your view would be. So if we do a slight North London comparison, the actual shape of the stadium, as with most stadiums, the new Everton stadium is going to be the same. You've got that curvature. I mean, Arsenal, obviously, 2006 they moved in here, so maybe they were one of the first to have this lovely curvy, wavy stadium. So most people already know that Arsenal were originally called the Arsenal, but they dropped the because obviously Arsenal being A, they would come first in most alphabetical lists. If you look at the table at the start of the Premier League season, you'll see Arsenal generally first. You've got the famous clock end over there, little nod to the Highbury days. So even the guide said, yeah, the seats are a little bit faded. I mean, you can see in the distance, I don't know if you can see in the distance, there are some brighter seats where they've replaced them rather than the whole lot, but we're really being picky, aren't we? So to recognise one of the biggest achievements in Premier League history, but in history in general, the history of football, Premier League awarded Arsenal that gold Premier League trophy in 2004 after the 03-04 unbeaten invincible season. If you're a football fan, you know all about the Invincibles. I did enjoy the fact that on the 50th game, United did end that streak. I'm not going to lie to you, but that's not to say I don't respect the Unbeatables run of 49, not 50. I think most Gooners will agree as well that the old badge was gorgeous. The new badge is just plain. It doesn't represent the beauty of the Arsenal. Said earlier, unfortunately the home dressing room isn't open today, but we generally do a shower count off the back of the Goodison tour where we only counted 6 showers in the away dressing room. Very basic away changing facilities in most grounds. God, 1, 2, 3, there's like 6 on each wall here. There's absolutely loads. Toilets over there, and as we make our way in here we have the actual dressing room itself. Very mid-noughties, very 2006. Looks a little bit like an IKEA showroom, but it's spacious. There's no weird smells. The floors aren't slippy. Apparently people put boot polish on the floor, make them slippy when the players got their studs on. No shirts hanging up. Normally you get shirts from different clubs. You've got the PE benches. Again, pretty standard. So unless I've already mentioned, the capacity here, according to Wikipedia, is 60,704. Now, apparently the construction cost to build the Emirates Stadium was around 390 million. Again, take inflation into account if you're comparing it to recent stadiums like the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I love the clear corners as the waves come down. You can see the odd seat in the distance that's been replaced. It's a little bit newer, a little bit faded. It's not often you see these old school pull-out tunnels in modern stadiums. Obviously they've got the LED typical setup you'd get, but if you compare it to like Man City, Tottenham and stuff, you don't generally get these tents. It looks as though each broadcaster's got their own little interview studio. Soundproofing on the walls, of course. I did see BBC next door, I think. So Roy, what do you think of the Emirates Stadium so far? I think it's bloody fantastic and I can't wait to explore the rest of it. Let's go. So West Ham fans always make reference to the fact that West Ham won the World Cup in '66, but did you know France '98 Arsenal won the World Cup? And who doesn't love a good buffet over here? I'm guessing this is pre-match meal. So what a fantastic tour. I love the fact I can just wander around and yap to you lot about being conscious of a guide and stuff. I think Arsenal really have taken the personalisation, the memories. We love nostalgia on this channel. Essentially the channel is based on football nostalgia, and you can't get more nostalgic than some of the pictures and quotes and icons that just throughout the outside and inside of the Emirates Stadium. I think I've missed a few things on the outside, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop back to the club shop, get an item. You know what I'm getting. I've already had loads of messages after I put a picture up saying, you know what you're going to buy from the club shop, Gunnosaurus. Let's go and get him, then I'll meet you back outside with some more scenery for a bit of a summary as to my opinions, my impressions of the current Arsenal Stadium prior to going to Highbury. Let's go. So yes guys, I completely forgot that we haven't even been to the museum yet, so I'm going to take Gunnosaurus back over that bridge. He looks good, doesn't he? Did set me back enough, so I'm glad he does look good. He'll take pride and place in my man cave. I've got a bit of a Football Paradise HQ, so we're going to do a bit of a refurb and put all of these items we're getting from every Premier League stadium in the man cave, and we'll do a bit of a video at the end of the season. Anyway, back over to the museum. Just spoke to someone who works here, and he said that when we go to Highbury, apparently you can actually go in to what was like the reception area, and all the marble and everything is still there. They might let you in, they might not, but yeah, really excited to see that. That's my cue to go. That Overmars goal really affected me as a kid, crying for days. Right then guys, as good as the Emirates Stadium was, even as flats, I think Highbury might just top it. This is fantastic around here. So head over now to the Highbury video. I can confirm that we've been in there despite it being residents only, and we have been in the reception, the lobby area with a marble. It's classy, it's incredible. So here we have it over here guys. Click the video over here, or we've got more stadium tours there. It's been a pleasure, and I'll see you in the Highbury video. Let's go.